Hey guys, this is Chris with Stoked About Science here. I'm going to talk a little bit about pressure. So I've got this bed of nails here that we made a long time ago. It's got 1,500 nails just about, and we've got another piece to it that's the same size. So we had to drill every single hole through the plywood first and then pound the nails in. It took forever. But they're just normal nails. I didn't put any kind of, I didn't file them down or anything. They're regular nails from the hardware store made to hold boards together. So I take this apple and drop it. You can see, not so good for the apple. It gets impaled, basically, here. Lots of holes in it. Okay, so let's talk about the idea here. The idea is pressure. If I take this balloon and push it down on top of this, it doesn't pop. Because there's so many nails holding it up, they like all share the force or the weight. If I just had one nail like this, bad news for the balloon. Boom, pops just like that. You don't want that to happen to you. But pressure is kind of a cool idea. And I'll show you more about what you can do with the bed of nails in a minute. Pressure, force over area. And so you take the force that's being applied. In this case, I'm pushing down on the balloon, and that's being held up by nails. And the area, or the tip, the size of the tips of each nail, all added up, that's the total area. So when I have many nails, I have lots of little tips holding it up. So it has a medium force compared to a really large area. So you can see here that the pressure, this side, the pressure is fairly small on the balloon. But when I only have one nail here, the pressure is big because the comparison of the force that I have to a really small area, that tip of that one little nail is really small, and so that ratio gives you a really big number of pressure. Or you can think of it as you've got to divide that area, that little teeny area, it divides a lot into that medium-sized force to give you a really big answer for pressure. I'm going to show you next what happens if you stand on the bed of nails barefoot. So I'm going to try to stand on this thing. I took off my shoes and socks. Sorry you got to see these pasty white ugly feet, but you're going to have to for this. Today is the first time I've ever tried this. I've seen some students of mine do it when we were carefully watching them and kind of helping them, but I've never tried this myself. So we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to go barefoot on these things right here. All right, here we go. I'm going to ease myself up so not too much weight on any one foot. I have to go both at the same time. Oh, no. I am not standing up on those. That is too much. Okay, let's try plan B here, which is maybe if I put my socks on, it'll give me just enough. Nothing in the socks. They're just normal socks. No cheating here. Maybe it'll give me just enough to be able to do this. Here we go again. Okay, it hurts. I'm not going to stay here long, but I could stand up at least for a few seconds. Okay, whew. That is not the best feeling, no. So that was a little bit crazy, but I've seen people do it before. I just didn't have tough enough feet to be able to do it without a little bit of padding for my socks. Now, I don't think it would have went like through my skin, but I didn't want to chance it because it hurt too bad. Remember, pressure is force divided by area. So let's figure out how much pressure were on my bare feet while I was doing that. The force the nails were exerting on me was the same as my weight, which is about 175 pounds. The square inches of my feet, I don't know what that, on my feet, I don't know what that is right away, but let's just think about what would it be if I'm just standing there. So I outlined my feet with shoes on, basically my shoes, on graph paper here, and each square is a square inch, so 33 full blocks. All the blue ones were the full ones, and I added up the colored ones, kind of matched them up to make full blocks. So it was about 33 square inches for one foot. So for 2 feet then, that gives me 66 square inches. So the pressure, 175 pounds divided by the 66 square inches, is somewhere around 3 pounds per square inch. And we abbreviate pounds per square inch with PSI. Now, just to put this in perspective, like a basketball or a sports ball is probably somewhere between 5 and 10 PSI. Your car tire is probably 35 PSI, 40 PSI, somewhere in there. So this is a low PSI for me to stand on it with shoes. But what we really got to figure out is what's the area of each nail and how many nails are holding it up. So let's try to figure out the area of one nail. So I took a square inch here and I divided it into 4 pieces. So this one's a quarter of a square inch, and divided that into 4 pieces. That's a 16th of a square inch. Divided that into 4 pieces. This one here is a 64th. And then if you divide that into 4, it was hard to draw. That little corner right here is 1 256ths of an inch. So I can kind of show you that better with maybe this right here. If that's the size of a nail, then that would be, I could take my square inch and fit 16 nails this way and 16 nails that way to get 256 total, and I have one out of those 256. If it's even smaller than that, like just that little dot out of that 1 256, then it's a fourth smaller, or it's 1 out of 1,024, which would be 32 little nails would fit that way, 32 that way, for about 1,000 total, and that means I have 1 out of 1,024 nails for that. All right, so we've got this issue of how big really are those nail heads that are sticking up into my feet. So if you take some clay and push it down on there, and then I measure, you can look at the picture here, what the size of the holes look like. There's some that are the bigger 1 256th, or some that are smaller 1 1,000th. If you then take my hand and push it down and look at that picture as well, you can see that some are big and some are small. So maybe in the middle is the best. So I then took the outline of my foot, counted up how many nails there were in that. There were about 200 or 120 in one. I don't know if all of those really are touching my foot or not, but we'll say they are for now. So that's 240 nails total for 2 feet. If I go with the smaller, the bigger nail size, then it's an area of about 0.94. That should be square inches. Where is it? Right there. Should be square inches. And then if I go with the smaller nail size, is about 0.234. Once again, that is also right there, should be square inches. That gives me two different 186 psi or 748. If there's really less nails holding me up, then it's going to be on this side, the higher pressure. If the nails are actually smaller, then it's going to be the higher pressure. If the nails are more toward the bigger side, then it would be the smaller pressure, which is over here. I don't really know what of those factors are the most important, so I'm going to go with maybe something kind of in the middle, but leaning toward the big side, that it's about 500 pounds per square inch. And I could be off on that by a lot. It could be plus or minus a couple hundred psi. I don't know, but for my first attempt at this, there you go. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 pounds per square inch. So thanks for watching.